Hello right bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Stranded Deep guide. If you need more of these guides, starter guides, or you just want to see me play the game for the first time on console, go and check out the previous videos. And for the best in survival games news, I am your man. If it's coming to console, I will be the first person to tell you it's coming. If it's a brand new game on PC survival, I'll be there showing you guys what's going on. Today I'm going to take you through all the natural resources and stuff that you can just find, including all the uses that I can think of. I may have misplaced one or two or forgotten about something. If I have, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I've got all the major stuff you need to know about Stranded Deep. Pretty much what plants do, how to get certain resources like clay, and what you can do with shipwrecks and what kind of resources you'll find in them too. Just a little disclaimer as well, don't forget that Stranded Deep has some differences between PC and console, as right now I do believe console doesn't have some of the larger creatures, but of course console does have end game, so I'm going to try and keep it more general about Stranded Deep, and I'll mention if it's coming to console in the future. So let's crack on with the resource guide for Stranded Deep. Coconuts in palm trees, absolutely basic, but there you go. Grab your knife, smash it up, and you will get yourself a drinkable coconut. Just pick it up and drink, or once you finish drinking it, you can use it to hold more liquids or consumables. One lashing and you'll make yourself a coconut flask. Make sure you always drink your coconut first. If we take a look at my water, you can see I'm pretty much just about nearly full. And once I've drunk it, you can see it's filled it completely up. It usually gives at least one square. Go ahead and smash it up and you can eat sides. Again, I'm nearly about to empty my first square. And if you eat both of them, it should pretty much replenish a whole square. You cannot just live off coconuts though. After you've eaten 3, you should start actually losing water. It dehydrates you because it's technically giving you diarrhea. So you can only usually eat up to 3 coconuts a day. Don't forget you can climb trees, or just simply go ahead and chop the tree down and the coconut will fall. Palm saplings, the basics of the game. You can need this so much, the fibrous leaves, to make yourself rope, cloth and all sorts. A better source of that is the yucca tree. A few hits and you'll get plenty of fibrous leaves on the floor. Yucca plants regrow every 2 days after you first harvest them. You need lashing for so many different things. So always get as much as you can, and always strip away every single yucca tree as soon as you land on an island. On some islands you will find rock. This is where you can get yourself some stone. It's not every single rock, it's only the ones that are highlighted. Chop away with your pickaxe and eventually you will get some bits of stone that will fall off. Generally you'll get at least 6 pieces of rock. You'll also find some rocks on the beaches. Obviously though, they don't respawn, so once you've cleared an island, that's it, it's out of rock. You'll use rock a lot, especially to build stone tools, as well as things like anchors. To get the rock though, you're going to have to be quite a high level, level 4, to get the refined pick. And it costs 2 pieces of leather, which you're going to have to go and kill some boars to get. The boars drop raw hide once you've skinned them, and then you're going to need a tanning rack, so it's quite an involved process to get a pick. If you're looking for clay, you need to find these small nodules. They're normally just on some islands where there's lots of sandy banks, or you'll find them hidden away in much more deeper, more busier reefs. Sometimes they're a bit out of the surface as well, so you've got to be careful for bigger sharks that attack you. Again, they can only be harvested with a pick, but this is how you get clay, and that's what you're going to need to build your distillery and stuff like that later on. Ajuja plants, these will help you breathe underwater when mixed 2 of them with a coconut flask. You do have to be a higher level though, crafting to use them. Normally you'll find 2 at least on most islands. If you've been poisoned and you haven't already watched my guide on how to make the antidote, this is what you need to pick up. Pippy plants. This is pretty much their main and only use. You'll be lucky to find 1 on a small island, but not all islands have them, and large islands might have 2. You do need 2 of course to make the antidote. Again, mixed with a coconut flask and a right level, usually level 2, and you should be able to make 1. Aloe is used to make a palm to help you with your SPF factor. If your SPF is getting pretty low, you can combine the aloe with a coconut flask and slap it on yourself. It'll also protect you for a good few hours afterwards too. Just like the breath potion does as well, that also lasts a hell of a long time. If you're looking for fruit, this is the little plant that you're looking for. It can be hard to see sometimes. If you're not paying attention, it just looks like a normal shrub. But just on the other side is the koala fruit. As far as I'm aware, none of the small plants with fruit actually respawn the fruit. If you want to start growing more, you're going to have to plant it yourself in a farm plot. The guava fruit is good for giving you hydration and food servings, 2 food, 1 hydration, and you can use it combined with another fruit, the kura, to make gauze. This with a coconut flask is how you make it, and it pretty much stops you from bleeding. There might only be 1 or 2 of these on certain islands. Maybe if they're large you'll find 2. The last fruit you want to be looking out for is this on the kura tree. Now it can be a bit hard to spot. This one's in a bit of an odd position on the rock, but normally it's quite a low lying shrub and you've got the kura fruit hanging from it. Now there's a lot of trees in Stranded Deep. I don't think I really need to go through exactly what they are. But just a quick rundown, you normally get at least 2 or 3 sticks by chopping off a skinny tree. And of course if it's a palm tree, you're going to get a hell of a lot more. There are some trees you just cannot harvest, bringing that immersion to life. They could be really hard to find sometimes, but potatoes do grow. This is what you're going to need to make fuel. You can eat them raw and they'll give you 2 food servings, but their best use is actually saving them up so you can make fuel. So try not to eat these and keep them for when you're about to make fuel, as you'll need that to fly your gyrocopter and possibly escape from the Stranded Deep. Get potato farms going as quickly as you can. After the pippy plant, it's the most valuable item in the game so that you can actually use it for fuel. It takes at least 4 potatoes to make 1 jerry can full of fuel, and you need quite a lot of fuel to travel around and to escape the final part of the game. Do not throw away any spoiled potatoes. Of course, as soon as you pick a potato, it will start to spoil after a little while, but these can still be used to make the fuel. Make your farm like you would out of planks or corrugated iron, and make sure you're obviously using a hoe. That's how you build it if you don't know. It takes I think 3 whole days for a potato plant to grow, but don't pick it straight away. Let it go for another day before you pick the plant. They're meant to give you 3 potatoes for each seed, but you need time. So try and leave it 1 extra day before you pick them. Crabs are a natural, easy food resource. Be careful though, they can damage you if they keep hitting you over time. Although its likelihood of getting killed by a crab is pretty non-existent. Just go ahead, aim with your spear, and there you go, you've got your food. If you're a complete nub, drop your spear, pick the crab up, drop it on the floor, and with a refined knife you should be able to skin it. Put the crab meat in your hand, any fire, and you can cook it up. Now, giant crabs are only on the PC version at the moment, I do believe. I've not come across any on Xbox or PlayStation just yet, but I'm sure a future update will add them. They've got 200 health, so you've got to be a little bit careful. They will take a considerable amount of hitting. Obviously, their shells are pretty tough, so you're going to have to really dig in to get them. Don't keep attacking you though, and they can often get stuck, so just keep pounding away until you get them both. Just like that. You normally get at least 2 pieces of crab meat from each one, and that replenishes your health a hell of a lot. Medium meat is going to give you 2 servings on your watch. It takes 2 hours to cook it, and normally 4 hours if you're smoking it. Large meat will give you 3 servings, 3 hours to cook it, 6 hours to smoke it. And small meat will give you 1 serving, 1 hour to cook it, 2 hours to smoke it. The giant hog is again another creature that's currently only on PC, but I'm sure it will be added to the Xbox and PlayStation soon. It's got quite a lot of health, but for now, unless I've not ever come across them on console, you'll be hunting the baby boar to get yourself leather. Once you skin it, you'll get a hell of a lot of meat. A tip that I know works on PC is if you leave the body, it'll actually not rot away, so it's a good way to keep meat fresh. I've pretty much done the same thing for a shark. Make sure you drag it onto shore so it doesn't go floating away in the water, and you can keep meat a lot closer and fresher. And obviously this is another way that you can get leather. Obviously it's rawhide that you get, but you have to put the rawhide in a tanner to make actual proper leather. Obviously fishing and capturing sea life is a big part of keeping your meat stores up. You can't kill them small little sharks though, they'll give you nothing, they don't harm you either. That's a lionfish, you need that if you want to make shark repellent, so you've got to spear it and then capture it afterwards. Once you've speared it, it won't poison you anymore. Look out for the stingrays, no you don't have to, they're not harmful, they won't touch you. And then big fish, they're the groupers, on console at least, they are uninteractive. You can't do anything with them. Likewise, you can't interact with the turtles. It's a bit of a letdown, to be honest, that a lot of these creatures you just can't either hunt or they don't do any damage to you either. It kind of takes away a little bit of the immersion from the survival experience for me. There are other smaller fish though that you can hunt, including sardines, clownfish and archerfish. They're all good sources of small meat. You can go ahead and hunt the seagulls by putting a spear or an arrow through them, and likewise for bats that will hang upside down from trees at night. Cue everyone making don't eat bat jokes because of COVID-19 in the comments. But you don't get any rawhide from them creatures or any feathers or anything like that, you only get small meat. So the best way is getting large boars or larger sharks, and that's the best way to get large pieces of meat. Now you need leather for a variety of different stuff, but more important is getting lots of refined tools. So that's how you make your refined pick, refined spear. So you will have to go hunting on a regular basis for the boar or for large sharks to get that rawhide. Not an actual natural item, but you do find cloth on beaches sometimes alongside tarpaulin, so make sure you always pick it up. You can also find cloth on wreckages, otherwise you're going to have to make your own. You can do this with fibrous leaves and of course a loom. You'll also find lots of corrugated scrap and plank scraps on the beaches. You can also find piles of driftwood as well, and these are obviously a good way to get wood or wooden sticks out of them. Now again, because it's not a natural respawning item, I'm still going to cover it just a bit. Shipwrecks obviously have a lot of stuff inside it. Lots of different things. You'll find sometimes lashing and rope. You'll find all the engine parts that you need to build yourself a gyrocopter or make yourself a motorboat. So really go exploring and try and find the chests that are always in here. It's got lots of good stuff. You'll often find flashlights. You can also find compasses and just a bunch of good stuff, including hammers, refined hammers too. I'll cover this in a more detailed video. I want to show you every single wreck in Stranded Deep, but yeah, absolutely, obviously go and explore as many of these as possible. If you find any breath canisters, obviously use them up so you can explore a little bit deeper, and you'll also find this is where you can get things like tires and buoys, as well as the barrels to make parts of rafts. Now I've not found an adequate way to get these out. It's really hard to get them out through the doorway sometimes with the tyres, so be warned, it is a real challenge. And that is pretty much it in terms of useful items. If I've forgotten anything, my apologies. Let me know in the comment section if there's a natural or resource I have forgotten to talk about. There is the Wahuvela plant, the pink one. It's got no use in game yet, but I'm sure they'll probably add something to it when it comes out in full release. And obviously I'll update this video when and if that happens. So I am JADE-PG. Thanks a lot for watching. Go and check out all the rest of the Stranded Deep guides and tutorials I've done and the little Let's Plays I've been doing. And I'll see you rat bags for more survival game stuff going on soon.